Hey you guys, how's it going? Back with another sort of trade recap video here, and today was a little different than most days for me because we took two trades. Normally I just take one trade, or most days even no trades at all is very common for my setup and my strategy. We have been getting pretty good price action lately and lots of setups, so my job is just to execute them, and I do not have a super strict rule for how many wins and losses I can take in a day, or well, I do have a rule, but normally I don't need to enforce it because it's normally just one trade or no trades. But the rule is one win, get off, one break-even trade. I'm allowed to take another trade, but with my setup, break-even trade is usually from the trade of the day from my point of view, and maybe I just got unlucky and price came back and stopped me at break even, so there usually is not another trade. One loss, I would typically want to get off, but I allow myself one more trade if I am not flustered and it's high quality. So today's first trade was a loss. It got stopped out right away, and I was trying to take shorts since my bias going into the day was bearish, but my read of market context and timing was off. So I just want to get into that, and maybe you guys could learn some stuff from me. But yeah, typically I just take one trade, but if it's a loss and I am pretty calm and not upset about it, I will allow myself one more high quality setup. But yeah guys, let us just get into it and go on replay mode here. And we'll go to 9 o'clock so you guys can see what I was looking at going into market open when I was forming my bias for the day. So going into market open here at 9 o'clock, I was leaning towards a bearish bias, and reason being was we have this 1 hour gap right here, 1 hour gap right here. This one, slightly disrespected, but this one not even touched. We are making lower lows and lower highs trending downwards. We have this 1 hour gap right here that is basically respected, and the close of this 1 hour candle is pretty neutral. It's not super bearish, super bullish. Going on to a bit of a higher time frame here, the 4 hour. I was thinking this is definitely bearish price action with how the candles are forming, right? We saw this big unfilled 4 hour gap and this high right here, and we are kind of going below that, right? We're not breaking above the high. But kind of where I went wrong is if you zoom out, we did just take a lot of major sell side liquidity. And if you go on the daily chart, there is also this daily bullish fair value gap down here that we are bouncing off. Now, I think I was comfortable taking shorts right into market open because we were also bouncing off of this daily bearish fair value gap, so it's almost like we're sort of in a range. But I think all this sell side liquidity and bullish daily fair value gap kind of held a little more weight if I look at it again now. And then zooming into 15 minutes so you can see what I was looking at into market open, and kind of where I went wrong here is there is a lot of these stacked highs. We would probably call this low resistance liquidity. So this is a big target. So even if I think price is going down in the, not immediate, but, in the next hour or so, I think price is going to go down. Sometimes first we need to go a little higher before we can go lower. So we need to take out all this liquidity and then take shorts from there, right? So we just swept sell side liquidity. We are very likely to grab all of these stacked highs, take out buy side liquidity again before we continue going lower, right? Usually the charts do not just go straight down. There is a bit of a retrace. So yeah, those are the main 2 points where I messed up today. with my bearish bias into market open, we had already swept sell side liquidity on the higher time frames, and on the 15-minute there was these stacked highs, this low resistance liquidity that I kind of overlooked. So going forward, when I form my daily bias going into the session, I also want to pay more attention to context and timing, because I could have a bearish bias, but from where is the key. I don't think it'd be good to be bearish just looking at this, considering the liquidity we just swept and the 15-minute and all of these easy targets, right? So if you take a short from here, price still has a strong reason to come up and sweep all this. So it is not really in your favor, but we will get into the trades I ended up taking and explain those now. Let's get out of replay mode. Hey guys, sorry about that. Sometimes TradingView glitches out on me when I leave replay mode, but I'll just paste these two videos together. So getting into the trades, the first trade was a short, and the key level was off of this line right here. And that key level was this high within this 15-minute bearish gap right here from pre-market. So a major high from pre-market. And after we swept the high, right here, I saw this 2-minute gap. This 2-minute gap got inverted and put take profit right here, stop loss, I believe it was right about here. And yeah, that got stopped out immediately. So I was not too upset about that. I knew I must be wrong about something, and I just let price continue to do its thing for a while. And when I would zoom out on the higher time frames, I saw that we also had this 4-hour high, not this 4-hour high, this 4-hour bearish gap up here that I wanted to see hit, and that is where we ended up taking shorts off. For the second trade, there was also this 1-hour gap, but we did not make it quite up to that, but we made it up to the 4-hour gap. So yeah, after we made it to the 4-hour gap, we initially swept the high, and then we got a resweep of the high. So here's where we initially swept the high, or swept into the 4-hour gap, came back down a little bit, but then we reswept that right here. And after we reswept that, we got a 1-minute inversion down here, and that is where I took my entry. So entered right here, went break even right here, and now that I look at it, this was probably not the most logical spot for take profit, since we also had a 15-minute, a low within a 15-minute, a little below us, but I was just going for a 1-to-1. It was about 110 points each way, and I had that loss from the first trade, so kind of just wanted something pretty probable. But yeah, the directional bias for the second trade was definitely a lot more correct, and we kind of went way past my TP. So yeah, that is one other thing I want to look at with all of my trades. When the directional bias is pretty correct, usually we go a bit past my take profit, but my strategy is typically 1-to-1 since it is pretty probable, so I don't want to mess with that too much. But that is just something I want to look at a little bit, possibly extending the take profits a bit. But yeah guys, those are the two trades. We tried to do a short trade first, but the timing was wrong and the context was not there yet. But then later into the session, we made it up into that 4-hour gap, got a resweep of the high, and took our entry there for shorts. But yeah, second trade was pretty good. First trade, a lot to learn from. But yeah, that's how it goes sometimes. But yeah, that about wraps it up, guys. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.